Hey folks, hey, Martinez here. I'm going to be doing actor class this Saturday. Hope to see you there. Kirk has asked me to comment on the question, what makes a good actor? I've actually seen what he has to say about it, and I concur to a tremendous degree with what he has to say about it. You have something you want, you do things to get what you want, and then you notice how it's going. Are you being successful or are you failing, and what kind of adjustment do you have to make to fix it? So what you want is your action, what you do is your activity, and then the third A is your adjustment to how it's going. Did that in improv class with my teacher, Louis Palter. I met him at UCLA and studied with him outside workshops for years. My daughter Devin actually was studying with him as recently as 3 or 4 years ago before he passed. Became like family to me. But at the get, when I address this question, what does it mean? What do you got to do this? And the first thing that comes to my mind is you have to be some combination of smart and brave. You have to be discerning. You have to know a lot about a lot. I think my acting has gotten so much better from spending time reading seriously and thinking about subjects that cause you to pay attention to nuance and irony. There's so much stuff that we spend our time attending these days that, sort of keep us in the moment and in the styles of the times, but don't really necessarily work to deepen our understanding the way a fine piece of literature will. So I think that's always something, if you can find the time, stay in a book, The thing about playing characters, as I've gotten older, I'm starting to play people that are less and less like me, I think. I played a lot of people that were like me. But as Kirk says, you do it real and you stay in your, these imaginary circumstances dictate the words that come out of your mouth, but you're drawing from the things that you really know how to do in situations. The farther away you are from yourself when you're doing a character, the more work you have to put in up front. You have to prepare yourself on a level that you don't have to work so hard at when you're just playing somebody like, I'm just playing myself. I worked with John Wayne. I've seen him do great work in some early Howard Hawks movies and such, but a lot of times he was playing a sort of another version of the guy that you sort of, oh, that's John Wayne. He could put that character into a lot of situations and you would love watching him. But when you look at someone like Meryl Streep, who is my paragon, that's where the bar is set for me. I got to work with her on She-Devil, and she had mastered this ditzy comedic character to the point where she didn't have to stay in any kind of state. She would just be standing on set, and when action would be called or rolling would be called, she'd close her eyes and she would come out with a brand new version of the scene. We regularly shot 20 takes because that was the appetite of the director. And you could pick any of those 20 takes, almost without exception, and put them in the movie. And yet they were unique. She just stayed in this sense of immediacy all the time. Whatever whim came through her came out in the feeling of the work, and the character just was there, boom. That's harder to do than the kind of thing that you do if you're just playing the same thing over and over again. So it depends on what the task is, how hard you have to dig into either things about this person that you find in the piece or things that you imagine about this person that matter a lot to this person that is not you. And really spend time thinking about them, maybe writing them down, practicing making stuff up within them, just getting yourself ready to be confident that you can actually behave as this person who's not you when the cameras are rolling. I'm currently doing Dark Winds in Santa Fe, and I'm playing a guy that's older but a great friend of, like a brother to Son McLernan's character. He's the great Son McLernan. And I found myself today, we're actually doing a sequence where we're investigating what it was like to meet 10, 12 years ago, before the current setting of the story. And I got to say, at the beginning, you know, we didn't like each other. The character of Joe and Gordo Senna, who I play, and I found myself really having to come up short and go, never remember, this isn't Zahn, and this isn't the Joe that Gordo has fallen into this kind of wonderful brotherhood with. At this point in time, you think he's just a punk, and he's kind of a threat to your lethargic, happy ways, and you don't like him. So, you know, don't let yourself start treating him like Zahn. You know, and I've been doing this a long time, but I still have to remind myself of some of the basic things sometimes. Kirk also said that it's important to listen, and I think that there's a rhythm to the way people interact when they're paying attention to one another and when they're not. Sometimes you see, I like to kind of skulk around and eavesdrop on people, you know, just in public. I like to kind of study, especially you see like maybe a couple that's on a first date or an early date, early part of courtship. You see a lot of people talking about, you see a lot of conversations where the person that's listening is like really working hard to think about what the next thing they're going to say is, as opposed to actually letting the thing come in and land and kind of feeling it and reacting to the feeling that it makes, that it blooms in you. Because, you know, you're trying to put your best foot forward with somebody you don't know that you hope you might know better. And you see a lot of really half-assed listening in situations like that. It's just like every comment is a provocation to like run through your own memory banks and think, what can I say that relates to that? That's a legitimate thing to play in certain circumstances. But listening, if you want to make people feel that they're in the scene with you, the audience that's watching you and your partners play the scene, if you want them to feel it, you got to listen and leave time in the work for them to think along with you. That's a big one, I think. Something I try to impress upon people when I'm directing. Let the audience have time to think about it if they need to. And a lot of times they do. Anyway, just unloading my thoughts. But we'll get into this deeper on Saturday and answer specific questions to the best we can. And it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Okay, see you then.